Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Oceania Sevens Samoa taking on the Solomon Islands. Now, this game has taken place a little bit later than it was first supposed to, and that is due to the lightning that has been around in Brisbane. It has meant that that game got delayed quite drastically between Papua New Guinea and the Tongans, and that was actually the first upset we have seen on the men's side of the draw with PNG getting themselves the victory. But for Samoa, in the starting lineup, it will be Valvasa Afasua Lalomilo. Has also got himself his second star of the competition. BJ Lima, Motu Opitai. Also alongside those two, it is Taitai Fono Sinio Tavita, Taunu'unu Levi, and also Palacio Samuela Naula is the last man in that starting side for the Samoans. Then for the Solomon Islands, it is Bobby Sadi and also Samani Sadi, so the brothers, and then alongside them, Daniel and Carling Asau Tangi, the two sets of brothers, both in the starting lineup. Owaina, Aluna, and also it is Gabriel Kaitu'u, which is definitely a player I'm looking out for. He was able to score himself a try in the first game that the Solomon Islands played. Now, there does seem to be a little bit of a delay here for the start of this contest. It may be due to the wetness. I think the players were also just getting ready or warmed up, ready to go, but there is a puddle out of the tunnel, which I think is the best way to describe what the last two games will be like. We have got there Tiff and also hi again, Cesar Brandon in the chat, and also New Zealand beat Sri Lanka. Congrats. Yeah, all they need now is for England to put up a decent fight in their game up against Pakistan, and then New Zealand through to those semi-finals, although they will be taking on India in their matchup, so that will be a challenge and a half. But Samoa, the thing is, they are used to playing in these conditions. We have to remember it was that first place playoff game up against New Zealand in Cape Town, and Samoa getting themselves only a few points in the lead. They didn't quite have the best performance in their first game of the Sevens competition. Would have liked to win that contest by a few more points than they did. 36 or so points to nil. I was covering the last game. Cesar Brandon in there as well. But yeah, there have been a few delays. If Bangladesh beat bloody Aussies, Kiwis will face South Africa. Says DC in the chat as well. Currently, like they're saying, Samoa, if they win this game, they will more than likely be facing Papua New Guinea. And that is due to the upset that we saw a little bit earlier on between Papua New Guinea and Tonga. But the winner of this contest, the Solomon Islands, we cannot count them out. They've got some brilliant players. Tapuki is not going to be in the starting lineup. Instead, making his way off the bench, Kwaina, he was a very impressive individual. He is another man who is coming off the bench. So actually going with a lot of talent late in this contest. Some of the star performers they have opted to have off the bench rather than in the starting side. Just about to get us underway. It is Moses Singamoana, one of the keys for Solomon Islands, who were able to get themselves the 50 points in their first performance, and also a try being scored in the final moments where there was a backflip as a celebration. But we are ready to go. Singamoana to kick us off. Who do you think will win? I believe Samoa should be able to win. But from that upset that we saw of Papua New Guinea getting themselves a victory, anything can happen in the world of sevens, and that is what makes it so unpredictable. Currently, though, looking pretty strong early on here, Samoa. It is going to be Va'a Pilomaleko, who's been tackled round his head. So that is going to be the penalty in favour of the Samoans. Now, that is actually Va'a Pilomaleko, a man who was not listed in the starting lineup. So I feel like they just make up the starting lineups for all of these sides, because another man that I'm seeing there is not on the starting paper either. We have got there, what are you covering tomorrow? Well, covering for day 3. I haven't done all of the calculations yet, but I do know any games that we cover of the Sevens tomorrow will be the later in the afternoons, perhaps 7:30, the earliest game that we'll be able to cover on the channel, mainly because we will be away up until around that time. We have got there, Hamish Love Samoa, is it right? Says Brandon. I mean, they are a very entertaining side to watch, that is for sure. Currently looking to build their momentum as they make their way towards those playoff games. Nice attack and run here from the Samoans. Looking for the next link-up pass. It will be our way to Va'a Pilomaleko. And now bumps off one, but he's been crushed. And the tackle attempt there. And I believe the penalty is actually going in the favour of Samoa. They've said in the breakdown it was an illegal manoeuvre from the Solomon Islands. Wide cut-out pass. Player waiting for it is Motu Opitai. And he is running the try for the Samoans 90 seconds into the contest, and they have now scored themselves their first try of this matchup. what we will do is we will go like this and like this. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier on, we are actually updating the scoreboard manually for this Oceania Sevens. Motu Opitai, we've had to update it a few times when he's been on the field, already scoring himself a few tries of this competition now. At the Solomon Islands. Important that they don't allow Samoa to build up that early momentum throughout this match. Eight on the BBL this year, we are hoping to. Normally, we aren't too bad in terms of copyright and whatnot for the BBL, but we have had times in the past that we've had copyright claims, people claiming our voice, which has been unique. I wish New Zealand gave Martin Guptill a chance. Says DC, and do you know what was up with the Aussies in the Rugby World Cup? Unfortunately, they just went with the risk of picking the youngest side across all teams in the Rugby World Cup. Eddie Jones said he was trying to build towards the future, but then he decided to leave the job the first year into a 5-year deal. So he didn't have intentions of sticking around for the Aussies. And it showed with the way that they played in that Rugby World Cup. They just looked like they didn't want to play for the coach. And, you know, it just all went wrong. Eddie Jones thought he was a genius. In the end, he was a very pivotal factor in Australia's continuous downfall in rugby. And a mismatch, Solomon will be defending the whole game. Says Conic underachiever. Yeah, although from what we saw in that game between Papua New Guinea and Tonga, Papua New Guinea weren't really given much of a chance in that game. And they actually did extremely well. So the Solomon Islands, if they can stop the momentum of Samoa, that is the big one though. They've got that set piece wrong, which they definitely needed right. I believe that was Gabriel Kaitu'u, wasn't able to get the throw straight. But Samoa in their first game up against Tuvalu, they didn't really look great. I'll be honest, they seemed like they were struggling a little bit. I don't know whether that was because it was their first game. Knock on there from Samoa. Scrum feed now going the way of the Solomon Islands. And let's say they are okay not say. Says Brandon. Yeah, the Solomon Islands, they showed in their last game, they've actually got a decent attack. They were able to get themselves over those 50 points up against, who did they play in that first round? I just have to quickly check. Make sure they played up against, it was American Samoa. Yeah, they brought up those 50 points on the board. Backflip as well. Or Kaitu'u though, he's had a handling error. I think that the rain will definitely heavily impact the way that these two sides are able to play. Via Pilomaliko getting wrestled towards the touchline, running out of space, finds the offload though. And now Solomon Islands, they committed 4 men to that tackle, which means there is space on the outside. Nice driving run forward from Neula. Now out wide. This is looking good, and it will be another try here for the Samoans. I think it was Tailini, if I am correct there. Oh no, in fact, it's BJ Lima. And let's say they're not going bed. Says a Brandon there. Of course, anyone wondering, we've still got one more game that we are covering later on tonight. That is Fiji versus New Zealand. Should be a very entertaining one. Is Fiji and New Zealand playing because it's so late for you? Says Tiff. So yeah, I believe they are going to be playing at around maybe 11:45 New Zealand time. So quite a late start for us here in New Zealand. I haven't heard any rumours that it's not taking place as of yet, even though the rain is absolutely pouring. Whereas French Samoa, part of France, says, was there from Chronic Underachiever? French Samoa. You're talking New Caledonia? Because I know that that is a part of France. But not too sure. It's going to be slapped back nicely. Got across the VAR. Pilomaluko just puts on the afterburners there, breaking through the one tackle. But so far has been marked up pretty well by Quainu, who's been under a huge amount of pressure. Paul Scanlon now, one of the co-captains, slinging it off to the left-hand side. Motu Opitai once again is thinking he's got a chance of scoring the try. Goes to BJ Lima on the outside. No yellow has been told off for going into that breakdown, so play will continue for a little bit longer. Paul Scanlon now goes through, offload on the inside, and through they go. Another one for Samoa. I better start updating the scoreboard. Neula, the man who has scored that one, but I believe that will take us up to 19 points to nil. Pilomaliko celebrating that try. No pressure from Solomon Islands, who do look like they are already starting to feel the fatigue from this match. Paul Scanlon, though, with a great pass off. Samoa happy enough to be able to wait that little bit longer to put that ball down. But 17, in fact, now it will go to 19 points to nil in favour of Samoa. And we did see the Fijians, I believe they were leading 26-0 at halftime in the game over Niue. And I feel like there's a little bit of Samoa that want to try and prove that they can get a few more points than the Fijians. Of course, in the last about 13 times that those two sides have played off, it has been Samoa every day of the week that has been beaten. They want to change that in the upcoming Olympics if they are on the same side of the draw. Paul Scanlon fires it back across, and of course they've got the World Rugby Sevens that has taken place in December. Dubai first, and then Cape Town for the second week of December as well. Scanlon on the halfway line. Does not look like Samoa want to put this ball into touch. Instead, they do want to go for a little bit more of an attack in this contest. Now Apilo Maliko trying to step his way through. He'll be a little bit frustrated. He is used to scoring tries. So if he doesn't get any in this game, I feel like that will still annoy him just that little bit. It's a passionate player. Knock on from Samoa. So that will be halftime in this contest. 19 points to nil going into the second 7 minutes. Like I've said, a very Samoan 7 minutes in terms of the amount of attack that they were able to put together there. But I still feel like Solomon Islands have got something in their gas tank or something in the arsenal that they have not shown yet. And perhaps they haven't had a huge amount of games in the rain. The amount of downpour that is happening at the moment is massive. How long are these games? They are 7-minute halves, so 14 minutes in total, plus like a little bit of extra time for halftime, and then also if the halves go a tad longer than 7 minutes. But overall, you're looking at a flat maybe 20 minutes per game, somewhere around there, and that includes halftime. But currently, Brian Lima talking to his team, nicknamed the chiropractor, also bit of a fun stat. He's played in 4 World Cups for the Samoans. I believe at this stage he's just telling the team, keep on doing what you're doing. Let's try and be aggressive here. Run them off their feet. Take them into deep water, which is already happening because it's already quite wet. No, so it's not like the World Cup. It is not, no. So only 7-minute halves. The games fly by extremely quickly. You see about 25 games or so that take place throughout a day of 7, sometimes even 30 if they have got a long day planned. Solomon Islands, they have not given up yet. They know that that first half did not quite go their way. I think that when they start making a few changes, they bring on to Puke. I think he will be a massive game changer for them. Still got some money today out there on the park. Tino. Bouquet, another man who is in the Solomon Sevens side. Like I've said, just not enough ball for Solomon Islands to really be able to do something with it at this point. But it will be Fa'afoi Falaniko to kick us back off. Let's go long. Yeah, I should mention Samoa yet to concede a try throughout this competition. It is a knock on there from the Solomon Islands, and early on in the second 7 minutes, Samoa have got themselves another attacking chance. I feel like this is the type of time that they use a set play when they could look to someone like a Va'apilo Maliko, Vavasa Afasua as well, Scanlon, experienced heads of the Samoan outfit. They have still got a good mix of those slightly more, well-rounded players who have been on the circuit before, know what it's like alongside some young talent that they are hoping to bring through the ranks in the future. But Scanlon now to feed into the scrum. 6 minutes remaining in the contest, and Scanlon goes for the grubber in behind, an unorthodox style of play from Samoa, but it's picked up by Va'apilo Maliko and manages to score the try for the Samoans. And that is actually, I want to say, the first kick we have seen from Samoa in general play, other than, of course, when they kick off or anything along those lines. I think that is the first time they have kicked tactically, and it has worked well and truly in their credit as they get themselves another try. That kick has gone over, so that will make the score 26 points to nil. Much better performance so far than we saw in their first game, Samoa, where they were going head-to-head with Tuvalu. Like I've said, Scanlon Brilliant bit of vision there. Va'apilo Malika, I mentioned he'd be frustrated if he didn't walk away with at least one try throughout this game up against the Solomon Islands. He has got himself one, but can he make it a double now? Going back across to Va'apilo Malika, already touching the ball once more, trying to step through the tackle attempts, and he has been able to do so far. Scanlon now passing quickly out to this left-hand side. Chance for Naulevaya, who bumped off the Solomon Islands defence. He's gone over the try line, and I think that's going to be awarded as a try, and it looks like there might have been a head knock there for a Solomon Islands player on the way, but Taununa Ulivaya just showing off that size that he's got, showing the power that he's got under his belt as well. As soon as he went for that wide cutout pass, it was always going to be trouble for the man defending up against him. Hits the ground hard. And then I think there was actually the Solomon Islands player trying to lead with his head, which never goes well, whether you're tackling a Samoan or any player. Yeah, you don't really want to try and headbutt them. That doesn't work. Tough kick from the touchline, but it's looking pretty good and it's gone over. When is New Zealand playing 6:30? Says Chronic Underachiever. So for us here in New Zealand, their game will be kicking off probably in around 45 minutes time. So same for you guys, wherever you are watching around the world. But yeah, around 11:45, I believe New Zealand time is when we are going to see New Zealand versus Fiji. But that is, of course, if they don't say it's too late in the day, we need to call it quits. I hope that's not the case. I hope that they keep on playing. At the end of the day, yes, it is dark, but they have got the lights that do provide the sufficient lighting. And I believe there's only 3 games to go after this one. And the day not quite working out for Solomon Islands when trying to take that kick off. Now Scanlon going across again. Lalamilo moving to 20 metres out. Scanlon playing a lot of halfback. So about 6:45, says Chronic. And there, depends on where you are in the world, because anywhere like New Zealand, 11:45, which works out to be, I believe, South African time 9:45, I want to say. Or actually, sorry, that would be 1:45 or 12:45 in the afternoon, somewhere around there. So it does depend on your time zone, of course, because yeah, most of the time we're basing it off either New Zealand or South African time zones. In UK, I think it's about 11:45 as well. So there is going to be the change made for the Solomon Islands, and South Africa would be 12. Says Tiff in there. 12:45, so yeah, just after lunchtime. For you guys in South Africa, we have got there excellent advice. You don't want to bang your head against the Pacific Islanders' head. You might win now. Or you might now win, says Nazi Williams. Now line out throw here for the Solomon Islands. They have claimed it, although it's stolen straight away by Naulevaya. Now, unfortunately for Solomon Islands, they actually had that ball, but straight away, Naulevaya, he saw the opportunity to be able to pounce on stealing it and got it straight away. Now Samoa 38-0 over the Solomon Islands. They might have their opportunity to bring up their first 50 points throughout this competition, which would be sending a statement to their eventual finalist opposition, Papua New Guinea. It does look like that is the way it's going to be going. A lot of people predicted Samoa Tonga, but now PNG have put their name in that hat and they look like an effective side in the 7th circuit. Kick has missed away to the left-hand side, so it will remain at 38-0. Now 1 minute 30 remaining, 90 seconds, about the amount of time that we have remaining in that last game when it did end up with the rain and the lightning. So they did have to delay game for around 50 minutes or so, I believe it was. They were off the field. Motu Opitai slaps it back. Nicely cleaned up again, though, by Samoa. It's going to be a double blow of the whistle. It's called as a deliberate knockdown rather than just a knock-on. A little bit unlucky there, as I almost thought he got 2 hands to it, but it just means now Samoa have got a man advantage for the final 60 seconds. And that is danger for the Solomon Islands. It's going to be hard enough stopping Samoa once throughout this last minute of the game, but stopping them twice could be near on impossible. Great attack and run from Fui Falaniko. Now going off to this right-hand side. I do have plenty of players waiting. Ball rolls out the back, and it is going to be another try. Alofipo does manage to score it. And also we have got there, who's your favourite Springbok player in 2023 Rugby World Cup? That's a great question. I mean, Cheslin Colby in the back end of the competition was very good. Peter Steph-Toy did extremely well in that final. I feel like he was definitely the pick out of anyone there. Oh, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because I feel like individually there were Springbok players who did well, and then like there were moments where the team just did well. Like Kwaka Smith, phenomenal off the bench for the Springboks throughout the competition and a match changer a majority of the time. We are back. I just sneezed. Unfortunately, what's your favourite food? That's a good question. Taunui Levi, another try. I mentioned it was going to be very tough to stop the Samoans from scoring twice, and they've just done that. I thought Kwaka Smith is the best Bok, says Chronic Underachiever. That is now going to take them up to the possible 50 points on the board now. Could end up with it being 50-0 perhaps. Pronounce the Samoan names better than the actual commentators, says Tobias there. Yeah, we've done quite a few of these Samoa matches. We've been covering them all through the Sevens for the past about 2 years. We covered their game up against New Zealand in Cape Town where they were able to get themselves the win in the absolutely pouring rain. Short to the right, they have said the final kick is, so 50-0 for Samoa. My favourite is Fuff and Eben, says Tiff, and also the Ox. And there from Tiff as well, but the end of the game, 50 points to 0 in favour of Samoa. A one-sided affair. And now it means that Samoa Papua New Guinea seems more and more likely for the Olympic qualification spot. It is just around the corner, but I do thank you all very much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. The next live stream that we are doing is in about 45 minutes time. That will be the match between Fiji and New Zealand. So you do not want to miss that one. It is going to be a massive clash. Fijians coming as underdogs. When you look at their team on paper, you wonder how that is possible, but I will be covering it on the channel in a very short moment. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all for the next one.